How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
It was different. It felt different, that sort of innings. Not necessarily what we've expected from teams in the first 2 weeks of the IPL, where they go really hard, more runs in the last 5 than the middle 10. But how good is 200? Is it enough? Is it par? Is it above par? Which team holds the advantage at halftime? Well, thank God I don't have to answer those questions. This is Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Regan for Timeout. And that job falls to Mark Boucher and Sanjay Bangar. And I will include you, Matt Roller, for your dead accurate prediction of 200. You needed Russell and Rinku to back you up for that 200 because neither of them were interested in a last ball buy.
Yeah, I think that's the first time this season out of maybe 7 or 8 times I've got a score anywhere near. So even
Stop gloating. Stop gloating. Okay, please explain that innings to me, Mark and Sanjay. I am really confused as to who holds the advantage at halftime. Mark?
I think that KKR will be happy with that. I mean, they lost 2 wickets early doors there. I think the bowling Sunrisers, they bowled probably the wrong length to Ajinkya as well. He's very good square of the wicket, and they sort of bowled hard into the wicket, back of a length, and he that's his game. He played like that. He holds a bat very, very far down, and any guy who walks the crease like that, you've got to be aware that he picks up length very well, and that's exactly what he did. So he got them back in the game by having a fairly decent power play after 2 wickets. Then I thought Sunrisers came back into the game nicely in the middle part of the game, and then KKR really finished well there. You didn't expect that finish at the back end.
You're saying advantage KKR by
I think advantage KKR. I think the pitch is slowing up a bit as well. There was a little bit of turn there as well.
Sanjay Bangar?
This is a chasing ground, and a number of times you've seen 200 being chased down. So I don't think any team would be disappointed with. KKR would be happy that they got to 200. SRH would be happy that they don't really have to chase down to 220, and that's the position. So it's evenly matched at this
50-50 game, you're saying, at this stage. Right, you've written a lot. Go on then.
Well, I thought it was a massive partnership between Venkatesh Iyer and Rinku Singh. Both of them came into the game under a little bit of pressure. Rinku didn't have a great season last year, despite KKR's title win, average sub 20. Strike rate was good, but probably didn't have the impact on games he would have liked overall. And Venkatesh Iyer obviously came in with a huge price tag in the end at the auction and has started the season slowly. So for them to combine for 91 off 41, that's a huge effort really. And has got them to something that looks defendable, as Sanjay says. Although I know Sanjay obviously was part of the Punjab backroom staff last year, and they ended up with, what, 260 chase down at Eden Gardens? So there is recent precedent for some huge numbers at Eden Gardens.
That surface, that 520 run surface, similar to today's? Mark said it held a bit, turned a bit. What do you make of the surface?
I felt it's quite similar. It is indeed good batting conditions, and at times it does give you that impression that the ball is really going to break, but rarely have I seen, at least in the last 3 or 4 seasons, wherein the ball has gripped and turned.
Did you sense that there was a hangover of what happened in the last game with the approach that Raghuvanshi and Rane employed? In the end, it's not bad innings, and it's not a bad partnership, which I know teams look at collectively. You got 81 of 51 after losing a couple early wickets, but did you sense KKR were cautious or circumspect today?
Well, the way that the first 2 batters got out, you'd probably think no. But then once losing 2 wickets, there's always a theory that you don't lose more than 2 or 3 wickets in the power play. So Rane probably went about his business, understanding that as well. He plays good cricket shots. And as I said, they bowled fairly short to him as well, so he just capitalised on that. I think they batted really well in the middle period of the game, although they didn't really explode in the middle period of the game. They sort of decided to take it towards the back end, and that's where they reaped the benefits from it.
Here's where I'm coming to your point in the pre-show about the team. If Russell's faced 2 balls, Ramandeep hasn't even batted. Forget Moeen Ali, poor fellow. But then you're thinking you should be 240 for 6 or not 200 for 6. Does that make sense?
It does. I mean, the argument will always be like that you have a lot of firepower left behind. Could you have gone a little bit hard in the middle overs? Yes, Rahane and Raghuvanshi did a fantastic job of maybe getting the things back on track, but in the middle overs, from 7 to 15, they got around 69 runs.
Correct. That's 10 overs for 60 on a
could have gotten a few more there, and that's where the game lies, because it's a game of very thin margins.
What are the sort of emotions in the dugout when that's sort of happening, where you're reaching over 16, 17 and you're 2 down or 3 down? You know, Russell's sitting over there, and I'm trying to understand if there's any kind of intelligence going through, timeouts, etc. Come on, guys, we've got this firepower.
Yeah, I think there would be some sort of conversation happening in the dugout the entire time. You'd like to think that the coaching staff would be on that. They probably had a score in mind from the start after maybe the power play. And that's why they may be a little bit sluggish in that middle period of the game. But maybe they were happy with 200. If you have a look at the way that KKR are set up, so we're talking about their batting, but they have brought in an extra spinner.
Yes.
I think their spinning department is probably better than the Sunrisers spinning department.
Right.
And they maybe feel that they can do some damage in that middle period of the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sunrisers come out and really go after that new ball, because I think that's the one way that they could put themselves ahead of the game.
I'm going to pin that KKR batting the team and what Sanjay said in storage. Let's see how this result goes. Because then you could seriously go either way on it. But when Mark Boucher says spin, and that being a key, we only saw 4 overs, including the first ambidextrous over in IPL history. It's only 1 over that we got, though. I was a bit disappointed with that. But Kamindu Mendes has made a bit of history today.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's done it a couple of times in international cricket before, but first time in the IPL. It's obviously such a rare skill to be able to, it's impressive enough for someone to be able to bowl finger spin at the top level with one arm, let alone with both. Very impressive, and obviously ends with an unusual set of figures, 1 wicket from his only over. And it's quite hard to, I think that makes it quite a difficult game to predict, the fact there's only been 4 overs of spin. Because between Narayan, Chakravarti and Moeen, you'd think there's probably going to be 10 overs in the run chase minimum. It's quite difficult to know how the spinners will go.
So did Sunrisers not bowl more spin because they don't think that they've got the best quality of spin today, Sanjay?
Well, they had to balance it out a little bit by getting Kamindu in who would give them some batting depth as well in place of Abhinav at 7. So they felt that the role Zampa did for them, Jishan is very well able to do that, which to a large extent Jishan did. So they were clearly very certain of bowling 16 overs of pace, and I believe that that is the thing to do for most travelling teams who go to Calcutta.
Even though there were pacers going at 11s in the form of Cummins and Simarjeet and nearly 11 in Harshal, Shami had an excellent day, but what did you make of the choice of bowlers that Pat Cummins employed today? Yeah,
I think he might have been able to give another over. One over for 4 runs for wickets with Mendes. I mean, you'd be tempted to maybe giving him another over. Maybe him as a captain. I mean, and he's a world-class captain. Yeah. Maybe just didn't feel that was the right call at that particular time. Maybe he goes back to his room tonight and goes, well, maybe I should have just given him 1 more over. But that's his T20 game.
I felt that what Pat Cummins may have missed, he could have gotten an over of Abhishek when Ajinkya and Raghuvanshi were batting. So that was the window of opportunity.
I've got another theory over here that even though he's ambidextrous, perhaps he's more a slow left arm spinner than he is an offie. And once Rinku and Venki came together, a couple of offies he tried, which wasn't necessarily the classical off break. So perhaps there is a preference that he's more a left arm. Let me get your views on the first ambidextrous over you've seen in the IPL and just what you would have made of it. Yeah, it's a hell of a skill to have. Yeah. Now, I've actually coached a guy in South Africa who actually did the same as well. Right. But you're right in saying he's got a strength of one which is left arm spin over the off spinners. And maybe he just didn't feel that he's going to back him with his second one rather than the first one, which would be left arm spin. Okay, Sanjay Bangar, just that sort of skill set.
I've seen such players before. Even domestically, you have one from Nagpur. Yes. I don't really remember his name straight away. But being a finger spinner, you can do this. Bowl left arm orthodox or right arm orthodox off spin. A slightly easier skill if you were to compare it with maybe bowling wrist spin with both hands.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Try and break down the partnership between Venki and Rinku, which looks good at the end. But just your view on whether that partnership has kept KKR in the game. Could they have possibly gone sooner is, I guess, a question as well. We know Rinku likes to take a little bit of time to settle in.
I mean, you really want to applaud Rahane and Raghuvanshi for their partnership. But having said that, you have 32, a batter or two batters batting 32 or 35 balls.
Right.
And the maximum that they get to is 50. But when a batter bats 35 balls, the real benefit is not of the 50 runs, but for the next 7 or 8 balls, if you can get 25 runs, that is where the difference is between 200 and 220.
Interesting, interesting. So those parameters are usually part of sort of messaging groups to batters that if you're facing 32 balls, then you need to be striking it above 165, 170. Raghuvanshi's gone at 156 over here. In the end, Venkatesh Iyer is 200 and Rinku's 188. So would you accept the finish if you were in that KKR dugout?
Yeah, looking at the end picture, obviously 200 is a good strike rate. The 150, maybe on a wicket that you need to be striking at around about 200 towards the latter part of the game. Maybe the conversation should have been in the dugouts that, listen, both of you go. You've formed a bit of a partnership. You've had a look at the conditions.
Yeah.
If one of you get out, the other guy's still there and he can take control of the situation, especially with having all the other batters in the background there as well. So we don't quite know what the conversations were in the dugout, but you would think that they probably did think about those things and are happy with 200.
I'd be interested to know what you two think of. Will there be a point in the season when KKR start thinking about ending the Narayan up top idea and experiment, which obviously was such a success last year? But just looking at that batting lineup today, I'm thinking if you have Rahane opening with the cock and move everyone else up one position, then you're much more likely almost to make use of those huge resources that they have in the batting. And obviously, sometimes Narayan does come off and gets a 20 ball 50 and it's a great move. But do you think, given the batting depth that there is in that batting side on screen, there might be a temptation at some point to have Narayan, put him back down to number 8 or 9 and try and use those resources better?
I think they were presented with an opportunity in the second game wherein Sunil Narayan wasn't well and he had to miss a game. But because they had a clear thought out strategy that they need a like-for-like replacement, they promoted Moeen Ali to open the innings. There was a chance there that they could have pushed every batter higher up. But it seems to be a trend wherein if certain things have worked for you, as they did in the past season, you certainly want to continue with that sort of setup.
I can't tell you how much I'm liking all your observations, Mr. Bangar. So I'm going to echo what you said. The Raghuvanshi on the impact bench, Venkatesh Iyer batting 4, just make sure you cover all bases. And I know that another Venki from KKR watches this show. So this
Really?
could very much, very loyal follower of the platform. We'll probably get a text tonight from him. But anyway, there you go. Now let's just talk about the chase. Sanjay's made his points of chasing ground, whatnot. Mark, you said earlier that perhaps the Sunrisers could have bowled a little bit better. So what should be bowling plans with the evidence of the first innings here? Well,
I think it goes according to every batter's strength. As I was talking about, Ajinkya is very good on picking the ball up and using the pace of the ball. And for him, they probably should have gone a touch fuller. But look, I think they'll go out trying to bowl good, decent lengths, nothing too full. See if there's a bit of swing. I do think that Sunrisers are going to come very hard at the new ball.
Yes.
Having a look at the way that the KKR bowling lineup is set up, they know that it's going to be very tough once the ball gets a bit older and their spinners start coming into play. So they'll try to capitalise very much on this power play, which fits into the way that they've been playing in any case. So now's a great opportunity for them to really go hard at the new ball and try to get on top of the game.
I am just going to educate you on Venki Iyer's comments just as he was walking off in the innings break. The ball was holding on a bit. Not the Eden Gardens pitch I'm used to playing at. We feel we have a good score. Go on then. Who's going to read between the lines?
Are we going back to the groundsman talk again?
I mean, that is a thing that most batsmen nowadays, and at times you just tend to sit back and say, hey, you're getting 200s and the ball is stopping and gripping.
Yeah.
So, and this is like a cliched comment now. Every time you see a batsman coming off, is saying the same thing. So I don't really agree.
It's mind games.
I mean, the man has eventually struck at 207, 60 of 29. If he were a 30 of 25, I can understand that. But Venki's a smart man. Venki
Incredible. Yeah, that's genius. Come off after striking above 200 and say, it's a nightmare. It's such a tough pitch.
Tell you, it's such a hard life for the IPL players. No, must be so hard getting these wickets that hold and whatnot. Oh God! All right, let's try and get predictions, and let's get perhaps the key matchups in the early part of the innings. You know, Travis Head and Abhishek are going to come hard. I can tell you, win probability says 60% KKR, so it's a 60-40 game as per our algorithm. Now let's try and break down the power play. Sanjay Bangar.
They would use Moeen Ali for sure. And keep one of their pacers bowling outside the power play. So I expect minimum 2 overs of spin from KKR as far as the bowling mix is concerned in the first 6.
Vaibhav Arora has been named as the impact sub, so he'll come on. First over, you think Moeen? First over, Vaibhav, then Moeen?
Vaibhav, then Moeen.
All right, Mark?
I'm going Moeen first over. I just think that's their matchup that they've got against the 2 left-handers up front.
Yeah.
Try and get him out to the over.
What are the matchups we should be aware of, Matt? Anything?
Yeah, well, I wrote down for Head and Abhishek, both of them were striking about 180 in the power play last year against off-spin. Both of them were out only once, but to be fair, 180 against off-spin in the power play for those two is almost, it's not quite as big a number as it could be against some other bowlers. Vaibhav got both of these batters out in the playoffs last year, so one to watch for sure.
All right, I'm seeing a slip and I think what looks like a gully or a short third in place. So Rahane with an attacking field, but the innings is underway with 4 from Travis Head. That all being considered and a 60% win probability. What are our predictions, Sanjay?
A thrilling last over finish with SRH winning this one.
Lovely. Mark Boucher.
I'd love to be able to tell you after the power play because I think the game's going to be won and lost in the power play. But yeah, the way it's going on, I think SRH are probably going to pip them at the line.
Close game you feel as well?
Very close game. Especially with the spinners.
Right.
I think SRH will do it with 2 to spare, 2 overs to spare.
2 overs to spare is relatively comfortable. Right. You know what? I was going to give you my useless prediction, but let's just see where this ball lands. It lands in the hands of Harshit Rana, who's taken terrific catch running back to dismiss Travis Head. Why don't I go around the room one more time?
I've just changed my idea.
I'll give you a chance. If anyone wants to change that, because Travis Head has been dismissed, second ball, Vaibhav Arora has struck.
I'm going to change mine straight away. I said the power play.
Yeah.
I think the effect of this could be Moeen Ali not being used in the power play.
Ooh.
So straight away there would be change of plans.
They won't use him for Kishan, you think?
Yeah, not to Abhishek as well. So they'll go back and use more pace than spin.
Oh, there's no Spencer Johnson today, so their pace options are restricted to Harshit, Vaibhav Arora and Andre Russell. Right, okay. You're sticking with an SRH finish after that?
Why not?
Holding on to your guns. Well, you know what? I'm going to do it every day till it happens. 15th match in, going for the super over. It's got to happen sometime. So let's see how this game goes. But it's a huge 2 points up for grabs for both the Knight Riders and the Sunrisers. Mark Boucher, Sanjay Bangar, Matt Roller, thank you very much. Fascinating post-match show awaits us where we welcome your questions and comments to the panel as well. Join us for Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.